I woke up with a different feeling this morning. I look around Europe. Germany are saying, look, on Wednesday, we're going to go to Mutti. You know what Mutti means?
No.
Mutti means mummy in German.
Yeah.
See,
Okay.
Germans
That's
have hearts
Angela?
too. Exactly. That's Angela Merkel. And
Okay.
she's going to give the green light. And then May 16th, off we go. The Bundesliga is back. I feel good about that. I feel good about the prospects of that. I feel better about the prospects in Italy, where they've moved to what they call phase 2 of the lockdown. They've gone back. Remember how that nonsense about how players couldn't train individually or they couldn't train collectively, whatever. But now virtually every club, or not virtually, but more than half the clubs in Serie, and it's going to be done region by region, but are sending people back to train, albeit in the weird Arsenal-type training where you go up to the training ground.
Training ground reopening is a good news.
You're there. Juventus have called their players back, the ones who were abroad. Cristiano Ronaldo is on his way home in his private jet.
What about Gonzalo? Have they found Gonzalo somewhere in the Argentine Pampa?
I suspect that's going to be more of a slow burn with that guy. But and then in Spain, after reaching this deal between Tebas and the Ministry of Sport and the FA, they're going through an intense phase of testing this week. They seem pretty bullish.
Yeah,
it's good, right?
It's good. You're right. It's good. I mean, I think Italy, because the governments and there's voices coming up from there that I'm a bit more skeptical maybe than what the league and the clubs want to do and everything. But I think you're right. Germany would be the first one, as we all knew would happen and expected would happen. They would play first because they had this pandemic under control the first. They're so well organized, as you would expect. They have so many tests and everything. Everything is ready. Their protocol is super detailed, very reassuring if you're a player. Although, as we saw this weekend in Cologne, things didn't really go according to plans, right?
Yeah. So 3 people at Cologne, it was a member of the backroom staff and 2 players tested positive. One of the disputes, I think everywhere, is what do you do if you have a positive case? Do you just isolate the person or do you have to isolate the whole team? And both teams. I'm going to say this right now. If the medical authorities say that if there's a positive test, you have to isolate, you have to quarantine the whole team, there's no real point in restarting because then you're talking about 2 weeks for an entire team, possibly their opposing team as well. You're just going to run out of time to finish the season. I mean, that's just nonsense. But in Germany, they're saying, no, your opinion thus far is that we just isolate the people who are sick. We keep testing everybody else.
Yeah. And let's not forget that those players would have been in a very small group of 4 or 5 going training kind of together with the social distancing. So it's not like if they were in the middle of a 30-man squad, like being all together all the time. So there was less risk that more people were contaminated by them.
That's a really good point, and it kind of shows you that. Remember when people were talking about like having people play in a bubble and isolating from everybody else? In Germany, they don't do that. In Germany, they the players still live at home or whatever, and they kind of trust the players to look after themselves when they're at home. It does mean the possibility of contagion within a squad is a lot less, obviously. So I think that's something that they need to look at. The defender Berger Verstraete at Cologne, he was quoted saying like, "Well, I think it's absurd that only the players are getting quarantined. We don't feel safe, blah, blah, blah." That drew a lot of headlines. He walked those comments back. He said, "Well, I was kind of misquoted, kind of bad translation from Flemish or whatever the hell this guy speaks." It looks like it's all under control. So I don't know. I'm keeping both fingers crossed for Germany that they can do this. I mean, Spain, they seem really, really determined, and they seem to be working very, very closely with the government.
Yes, and we can like Tebas or not, and he certainly has a lot of flaws. But as the head of a league like La Liga, and we will talk with Ogi very soon about the Premier League not showing any kind of leadership for a reason or another. But with Tebas, you cannot certainly accuse him of not leading this whole operation, if you want. And okay, sometimes he goes over the top, and sometimes he's really annoying, and but at least the leadership is there. And whether you agree with it, whether you think it's safe enough or not, Tebas has showed the way of doing it, and I think Spain will go back playing as well, and I think they will have, again, their protocol is very strong. They seem to have everything in place. They seem to have the government with them. And again, football being so important in Spain, I think it would be a very positive thing if they can manage to go back playing.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.